Hello, good morning. My name is Mark Plum, and I'm a director with East West Associates. Today, we're going to talk about global manufacturing and supply chain analysis. And today, we're going to review three areas that are critical when analyzing your supply chain and your global footprint. We're going to talk, and these three things are you have to really understand where's your markets? Where will you be selling or shipping these components or finished goods once you've obtained them? Then you really have to understand what areas have the components, the raw materials, and the labor. And the labor really is availability of labor, cost of labor, skill set. So as I was saying, is where are you selling your products? Where can you find components and finished goods? And where is there labor, I should say, as far as skill set, etc. After you've analyzed these first two and you understand where you're selling the product and then where are you going to build it with the components, you have to really understand your country analysis. Where are you looking? What countries and governments are most attractive? Which ones are business friendly? Which ones have incentives? Which ones are very transparent, as I should say? And how are they on the corruption index? Also, as part of transparency. So today, Dan McLeod and I will review a recent project where we analyzed a USA multinational who had two manufacturing facilities in China, three in Thailand, two in Vietnam, and one in the USA. And their markets were really the USA, ASEAN, and Europe. Now, Dan is going to talk a little bit about some specifics of these eight manufacturing facilities.
Thanks, Mark. So in our client's case, we conducted a due diligence on their 8 manufacturing facilities globally to understand the capabilities of each facility and what there might be overlap on their production processes and the products they produced. Well, we found that the China facilities were not only were they incurring a 25% duty to export to the US, but there was a fair amount of overlap between their capabilities and their operations in Thailand. So with this information, the decision was made to close down the facility in China and they reduced about 150 employees and relocate the majority of that operation into the Thai facility. We didn't entirely shut down the office in China where we left a sourcing operation for them to continue to procure key raw materials through a transition until we could establish suppliers closer to the manufacturing base. When these products moved into Thailand, they had over 70% local Thai content, and our client was able to ship to the USA duty-free, as well as in other ASEAN countries and into Australia, which was a major market for them. We also were able to take advantage of the support of the Thai Board of Investment, and we're able to attract some significant tax advantages. And what we found relocating into Thailand in the past is that a new built facility, you can obtain up to 10 years of no corporate tax and 5 years of 50% tax. So there's some very significant, transparent, and achievable tax savings associated with moving into Southeast Asia. So Mark will talk a little bit about our evaluation of Europe as an alternative operating site.
Thanks, Dan. So as Dan spoke about, we were able to close down some of the facilities in China and go to Thailand and get some incentives, duties. Well, also what has happened is in China the last 10 years, our costs have gone up, as in manufacturing costs, and our logistics costs have gone up. So now building fairly large products in Guangdong province and shipping them to Western Europe, specifically Germany, Italy, UK, France, became problematic because no longer will we be producing at 40% less cost than when we had originally gone. So again, part of our study was, okay, we still have a big piece of China left producing these products. What if we produce them closer to our consumption in Western Europe? So we were engaged in a study to look at where in Central Europe should we set up a manufacturing location to feed our customers in Europe. So we did a 4-country study in Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, and the Ukraine. In this case, Poland became the winner, so to speak, and that is because with the new EU freeway system and highway system, building factories down on the Silesian-Moravian border, or meaning along the Czech-Polish border near Zabrze or near Krakow, you can be in Berlin in 10 hours. So we decided, okay, let's build the facility in Poland. We got the Polish government involved, called Polish Invest. But in this case, instead of building the whole factory from start to finish and project managing it, we bought the land with, of course, the client. Then we hired a developer to build a suit facility, and then our client leased it back for 10 years. And this facility then, again, built near Krakow, is 600,000 square feet, employs approximately 500 workers. So now we're sending products produced in Krakow to Western Europe in 10 hours versus building those same products in Guangdong province and shipping them to Berlin and taking 3 weeks. So all in all, this was a very successful project.
So the third step in this analysis was to review and understand the North American supplier base. And this is where the client had its largest and most established manufacturing facility. And really the question for them at this point was the age of that facility was such that they were faced with the decisions on reinvesting in major capital equipment investment. And this led to the question, well, do we reinvest in the current location, or do we look at moving the operation, particularly to Mexico? So we evaluated all the criteria around labor, materials, utilities, freight, cost to build, incentives, transparencies, the things that we would normally look at. And what you find is that for labor-intensive operations, labor can be a significant driver. And that was the case with this client, where a payroll would be approximately 35% in Mexico, what you would expect to pay in the US. On the other hand, utilities, freight expense, cost to build and lease factory space would be more expensive in Mexico. Incentives in what we find in Mexico are less transparent. They're available, but require much more work and regional negotiation. It's a little bit harder to pinpoint. Where we ended up was that plan was to transition into Mexico by developing a supplier base, by establishing strong suppliers that would be in place to make a measured stepwise transition of manufacturing into Mexico as the facility in the US became less optimal and required additional investment. And so we've got a plan for them to expand into Mexico over time as a supplier base can be developed to support that transition.
Thanks, Dan. So just to recap, when you take a look at a global footprint and supply chain, really 3 things. Again, where are you selling your products? Where's the consumption? And then once you know that, where can you find good raw materials and components? In addition to that, where's your labor? And labor isn't so much always the cost of labor, it's the availability of labor, and it's a skill set of labor. And of course, lastly, is government support. And in this case, it's critical that you really work closely with your local economic development. In the case, we work closely with Thai BOI, Thai Board of Investment, and we work really close with Polish Invest. Both of these 2 countries had national programs that help lay out incentives from the national level down to the provincial level. So do your homework, find out what the government wants, and then if you can, construct your investment to meet what they're looking for. Again, we want to thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please contact us on our website. Thank you.